Good morning, everybody. And I am pleased to be back to doing a course for people in Peru. And the next course will be offered by Internet on September 1 to September 4 days. Each day you will have 4 hours of lecture through Zoom. And so it's not an in-person course, of course, but this is the only thing we can do with COVID those days. Of course, in person are better, of course, but until then, we have to do it through the internet. And this one is the second one, I believe, this year we did. And the reason for this course is to give the basic knowledge to many people that are involved in gold mine and also optimizing big operation like copper mining. You know, in copper mine, you have big problems, sampling problems at the mine, at the plant, for metallurgical accounting, material balance. So all this is possible only if you have valid samples. Remember that you take samples only to take important decisions. But your decision will be as good as your sample. So if the sample is no good, the decision will never be good. So that is a very important subject for many of people involved with mining operations, but also in other operation like cement industry, like the food industry, they do sampling as well. And they have also problem with sampling. You know, the theory I present is universal. It applies to anything. Because of the many mines in Peru, we will emphasize on gold and copper. But everything that is taught is applicable to the sampling of other commodities as well. So in order to do a good job, you have to do two things. First, you have to follow a short course like this one. So you get the fundamentals, and that clear up your mind a little bit before you go to something more complex on your own, such as going through a textbook like the one I have. You know, this one, for example, it's a big book. It's about 700 pages. It's not friendly. However, if you go through a 4-day course first, like the one we offer to you in September, going through that book will be much easier. And then in a book like this, you have nothing left. And you can, if you go through that book 2 or 3 times by yourself, you can become an expert. But as I say, in order to have a good time with books like that, you need to go to a short course first in order to show you how it works, so you don't get lost in unnecessary things, unnecessary details that are not friendly to you. The book covers a lot of material that some of that stuff is not necessarily appropriate for some of you, okay? What we are going to do during that course briefly to give you a brief summary of what the course is number one, we are going to talk about optimizing sampling protocol. This is a very important subject because it depends on the heterogeneity of the gold, of the copper, whatever you're interested in. And this is an introduction also to the different type of sampling error involved. There are 8 of them. Number 9 will be the analytical error. So it's very important to decide what is the right thing to do from the beginning. Sample location, sample mass, subsampling mass, you know, that kind of thing. And we have to decide about a protocol. In other words, like a cooking recipe, it's something you will do in writing, step by step, to explain to people what needs to be done exactly. So now when you are happy with the protocol, after that, we will enter a new domain, which is the implementation of the sampling protocol. This is a very important subject because installation of sampling equipment, it requires the help of engineering firm. It requires communication with the manufacturer of sampling equipment. So this can go wrong in a big way because, like I said earlier, you have about 70% of the sampling equipment that will never do the job. And so we will spend a lot of time on this because it's very important. We'll probably spend a couple of days on that. And then after that, we will enter a new subject during the course about preserving the integrity of the sample. So you are a little more familiar with that subject, but nevertheless, it's important that we cover it properly. We will talk about contamination, about losing what you're looking for, about alteration of chemical and physical property, about training of operators, about fraud, you know, that is still taking place in commercial sampling. With trade of commodities around the world is very. We will briefly mention also what the problem can be at the laboratory, okay? So that is basically everything that will be presented in the course. So I hope you will find some interest in this and be ready on September 1 to 4.